I'm Lucy, and I'm diagnosed with autistic spectrum disorder. Autistic spectrum disorder is a neurodivergent, I wouldn't say illness. I don't really know how to explain it in words, but to me, autistic spectrum disorder is something that differentiates you from the normal. So you experience stuff in different ways to what neurotypical people would, and the world is very different. We see it very different to how maybe you would if you are neurotypical. Um, Sensory stuff are very key points when it comes to autistic spectrum disorder, as well as how we think. Our thinking can be sometimes very black and white, and for me personally, it is. I don't understand things such as sarcasm, or I could take you seriously when you're not trying to be serious. These are just some small things that I think can be key parts of autism, but there's a very big difference between the girl and boy autistic stereotypes. So, in my early life, I was always different, and we never really knew why. I always stuck out. From being about 7 years old, I stuck out, and obviously, as we know now, being 7 is when your personality starts to form, and that's when children start to notice differences between one another and where bullying starts. I began to get bullied quite ruthlessly from age 7 all the way up to about 14 until I was taken out of school. My mental health started deteriorating because, due to my autism, I was masking to hide it, and it often comes out in mental illness due to being so tired of hiding it. I have been in inpatient care 4 times now, collectively altogether spent almost 2-3 years collectively in inpatient services. And I've been in and out of mental health services since being about 12 years old. I'm still in mental health services, but luckily I have found a place that helps me massively. So I recently have struggled with my day-to-day life getting on as I should, due to the fact my depression has overtaken me and caused me to lose my special interests. But recently, to get those special interests back, I've decided to take myself first and put me in front of everyone. One thing I have been doing is journaling. And now this works amazingly, especially this journal in particular. There's different pages for like evening gratitude and stuff like that help you to express how you're feeling every day. I have been struggling to write in this journal, but I've decided to commit myself to writing in it every day, and it has improved my mental health massively. This journal is created by Be Kind for Honey, the charity for my best friend Honey, who sadly passed away in 2021 on 14th of February. And her mother, Gemma Cook, is amazing for all the work she's doing and all the free journals she's passing out. There's very little talked about when it comes to autism, especially when it comes to girls who are autistic, due to the fact not much is known. Boys with autism has been known for a lot longer. It used to be thought that autism was only for boys and girls couldn't get it at all. But with new research, obviously, we have found that girls can also get it, and it shows in very different ways. Due to the lack of research and such, we are at a point where we need these support systems, but yeah, I know of no organisations that truly focus on autism alone, especially where I live in Barnsley. There's no organisations that talk about how to deal with autism that I know of personally. When I get home, I like to get my pet budgie out, Honey, who is named after my friend that passed away, and I just sit with her. She preens my eyelashes, I get her food and fresh water, and we just chill out. She'll have a little zoom around my room, she'll sit on my head, she'll sit on my chest and just preen my lips because she loves eating the dead skin off my lips. She is my reason to keep going. Recently, I have lost myself to my depression and lost a lot of my hobbies, but I'm starting to open myself up. Next week, I am starting burlesque dancing classes, which are for all sizes because I struggle with my body dysmorphia. And I like gaming. I play Overwatch, Minecraft and Sims. That's as far as I go. And I love to sing and write music, and my mum has paid for me to be able to produce a song professionally. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm just trying to get myself on track with new things to engage myself with to keep myself sane. So obviously I've been in mental health services since 12 years old, my first inpatient being at 14 years old. In my first inpatient care, I was told they didn't know why I was there, just under a year later be thrown back into hospital and be stuck there for 13 months, even going up to a low secure and sectioned against my own will. I was thrown with a load of different labels such as borderline personality disorder and all sorts of other types. And of course, being misdiagnosed is very damaging. Not only is it damaging, being misdiagnosed with BPD is not the easiest, as I recognise there's a lot of stigma around BPD, and although people with BPD can't help it and aren't awful, the stigmas are still there. I got treated like I was one of those stigmas. In reality, I was just an autistic girl. My mum realised at age 14 that I was autistic, yet it took them 3 years to actually diagnose me after her begging and begging and begging for them to do a assessment. By the time they did the assessment, I was 17, almost 18, and it was their last chance in children's to do it in inpatient, where I could get it done fast and get the help I need. I went through a lot of hospital traumas in my time. The miscare of the mental health system is crazy, and it needs to be more funded. I can't help but cry out for more help for the mental health services. We have lost so many angels just because these mental health systems are failing us, and it can't happen no more. No one truly understands who isn't neurodivergent unless they have a family member who is neurodivergent. It's very hard to educate the ignorant, and ignorant are those who aren't educated or experienced with mental health and neurodiversity. It's very hard to educate them if they aren't educated from a young age, which I think mental health should be talked about much more in schools, in workplaces. It needs to be talked about because so many people, everyone experiences mental health. Mental health is something that everyone has, but there's a difference between having good mental health and bad mental health. Some people have good mental health and have never had to experience a bad mental health day in their life. Yes, people get bad days, but there's a difference between a bad day and a bad mental health day. Whereas you could want to end your life because it's so bad, or you're a bit moody because your cup of tea is too gone cold. You know what I mean? There's a very big difference. And I feel like it needs to be educated so much more in schools because children's mental health and young people's mental health is so vital at the moment. With social media comes a new wave of negativity and body image and social standards that we all try to live up to but slowly fail because they're not realistic. And it needs to be educated on how you've got to look after yourself. You've got to look after you, because at the end of the day, you're who matters. But also don't push people aside from your own ignorance. If someone's suffering, help them. Even if it's just making them a cup of tea and saying, do you want to have a chat? That could be the world to someone, and you could save a life. My mum is amazing. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have the diagnosis I had today and possibly wouldn't even be here. My mum saved my life on many occasions. She has always been there for me, and though she's not always understood, she's always tried to. And I cannot thank her enough for that. Mum, you saved my life, and I'm forever thankful for you. Give her a minute.